It is Sunday, October 19th, and huge news breaking moments ago. President Trump ruining Colombian President Petro's day, cutting all aid to his country, to the country of Colombia, informing them that the U.S. military will be targeting and destroying all cartel positions on Colombian soil if they don't straighten this out immediately. This is huge news. For months, we've been asking, why is Trump focusing so heavily on Venezuela when the vast majority of drugs are produced in Colombia, not Venezuela? Is this really about the cartels, or is it about regime change in Venezuela? Well, that question has now been answered. This morning, everything has changed, and it's fair to say Bogota is on fire right now. A 5-alarm fire is now roiling the capital of Colombia. Holy smokes, folks. We'll show you.
Another lethal blow against suspected drug traffickers. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth says the United States has conducted another strike in the Caribbean. Hello and welcome to a second hour of Fox News Live. I'm Rich Edson. This is the seventh and latest in a series of drone strikes aimed at boats carrying suspected drugs headed for the United States mainland. Democrats and Republicans have voiced concerns about the administration's aggressive tactics in international waters. Friday, President Trump was asked if Maduro was ready to talk.
He has offered everything. He's offered everything. You're right. You know why? Because he doesn't want to around with the United States.
President Trump making moves kinetically, diplomatically, covertly against the drug cartels of Latin America since February. Since Trump designated these cartels as foreign terror organizations, the U.S. military, with our intel community, has been preparing and fighting a war with these cartels. The last 6 months has been Southcom and CIA mostly conducting recon ops, mapping out exactly how these cartels function, their trafficking routes, their clientele, leadership, infiltration into local governments, how far they've infiltrated these foreign countries. The Pentagon is a planning organization, folks. They want to know everything before they go to town, and you could bet your ass they know it all now, because in September, the U.S. ramped up their operation, moved from purely recon to kinetic strikes, only targeting Venezuelan drug vessels, and only doing so in international waters. There's a reason for that, which we'll get into. Thus far, we've bombed 7 cartel vessels since September, all allegedly Venezuela, off Venezuela's northeastern coastline. Trump, this week, acknowledging and authorizing covert CIA action inside Venezuela. A remarkably unusual admission. Watch.
President, thank you. Curious, why did you authorize the CIA to go into Venezuela? And is there more information you can share about these strikes on the alleged
Well, I can't do that, but I authorized for 2 reasons, really. Number one, they have emptied their prisons into the United States of America. They came in through the, they came in through the border. They came in because we had an open border policy. And as soon as I heard that, I said, a lot of these countries, they're not the only country, but they're the worst abuser. And they've entered they've allowed thousands and thousands of prisoners, mental institution, people from mental institutions, insane asylums, emptied out into the United States. We're bringing them back. But that's a really bad, and they did it at a level that probably not, many countries have done it, but not like Venezuela. They were down and dirty. And the other thing are drugs. We have a lot of drugs coming in from Venezuela. And a lot of the Venezuelan drugs come in through the sea, so you get to see that. But we're going to stop them by land also.
Now, we've been asking the obvious question, why Venezuela, when the majority of drugs, the vast majority, come from Colombia and Mexico? Why target Venezuela solely? Because both Colombia and Mexico are strategic partners, non-NATO strategic allied countries. Marco Rubio's State Department has been waging their own full-scale diplomatic mission to get both Colombia and Mexico on board. We're hearing he's close with Mexico, but Colombia has not been convinced. In fact, their president, President Petro, for some reason is dead set against it, against dismantling the cartels. I wonder why. Why on earth would he want to protect the cartels? Well, it looks like all that recon has finally paid off. President Trump posting on Truth Social what he just learned about Colombia's current president. Trump saying President Gustavo Petro of Colombia is an illegal drug leader, strongly encouraging the massive production of drugs in big and small fields all over Colombia. It has become the biggest business in Colombia by far, and Petro does nothing to stop it, despite large-scale payments and subsidies from the U.S. that are nothing more than a long-term ripoff of America. As of today, these payments or any other form of payment or subsidy will no longer be made to Colombia. The purpose of this production, of this drug production, is the sale of massive amounts of product into the U.S., causing death, destruction, and havoc. Petro, a low-rated and very unpopular leader with a fresh mouth toward America, better close up these killing fields immediately, or the United States will close them up for him, and it won't be done nicely. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. This is huge, folks, and it changes everything. Yesterday, Colombian public media was leaked reports from Petro's office that claims a U.S. military strike on a boat on September 15th. That would be the second strike out of all 7 that Trump ordered on these cartels. Petro's office claiming that was actually a Colombian boat and was in Colombian territorial waters. Petro claiming these are extrajudicial killings and claiming that they weren't cartel members on board at all, but they were innocent fishermen. Then this morning, President Petro releasing this video claiming Trump's actions have nothing, he says, nothing to do with drugs. Instead, it's all about taking the oil from Venezuela. That the President of the United States is doing this out of greed. Oil greed is behind these extrajudicial killings, he says. Watch.
Pero al enfrentar el tema en el Mar Caribe, que nada tiene que ver con el fentanilo, lo que los Estados Unidos está produciendo es que lo que quiere es el petróleo de Venezuela y de Guyana. La codicia petrolera es la que está detrás de la estrategia que está tirando misiles sobre pescadores. Hay ya pescadores de la isla de Trinidad y Tobago que murieron bajo un misil. Hay ya el video de una lancha que no estaba surcando el mar, sino que tenía los motores levantados y por tanto quieto, al cual le cayó un misil. Todavía no sabemos exactamente el punto. Hay ya pescadores jóvenes que salieron de sus casas en Santa Marta y no han vuelto.
Meanwhile, in Mexico, Marco Rubio's State Department getting close with Mexico. The State Department has feelers out all over Mexico looking to recruit local politicians to help their cause in persuading Claudia Sheinbaum, Mexico's president. There is this full-fledged pressure campaign right now to get her to do the right thing. This morning, Mexican Senator Lili Tellez speaking out in solidarity with President Trump, with the United States, in the effort to eradicate these cartels. Watch what she said.
Why isn't Mexico partnering very well with Mexico, or are they? We're bringing back Mexican Senator Lili Tellez to join us now. Senator Tellez, welcome. You see that President Trump means business. You look at everything he's doing in the Caribbean and off the coast of Venezuela. The pressure is on Maduro. Mexico is an ally of the United States. What is Mexico doing to fight the cartels officially from the government?
Well, Mexico, President Sheinbaum says that she's an ally of the United States of America, but secretly, she is not. She is more an ally of Venezuela and of the Cuban dictatorship. We can look at it crystal clear, because she didn't want to congratulate President Trump over the peace treatments on Gaza, and she didn't want to congratulate Maria Corina Machado. She didn't want to comment anything about it because she backs up the Venezuela's regime. So the Mexican government is very worried about the United States trying to get to the Venezuelan cartels. And we Mexicans are very worried about this from Claudia Sheinbaum.
That, Senator, is a direct result of pressure from the U.S. State Department. That's what it looks like. And let's just say it isn't easy finding Mexican politicians to speak out publicly against the cartels. They don't live in the U.S., they live in Mexico. So good for Lili Tellez, good for the Trump administration for trying to root the cartels out, but it is dangerous business, folks, which is why the U.S. Department of Homeland Security spends so much money each year on national security, on airline security, on defense. All right, that wraps up the news portion of this video. Now let me tell you about the sponsor for today, Liberty Defense, ticker symbol LDDFF, which ties directly into how our government is trying to protect us from these possible terror threats, maybe even from the cartels, who they're now comparing to Al-Qaeda from 25 years ago. And at the heart of it all, a man by the name of Bill Frayne, the CEO of today's sponsor, again, Liberty Defense. And look, we are so early on this. Keep in mind, as I lay this out to you, that Liberty Defense shares, ticker LDDFF, in the U.S. are near all-time lows. As I explain this bullish thesis, 24 years in the making, in Trump's first term, and now with his second administration, there is a mandate to make travel more efficient, faster, and more convenient, and to cut costs for the government and for the taxpayer, a Doge environment to the travel industry. TSA deployed 2,000 plus EDS-CT and trace scanners costing $4 billion. By 2005, all 450 U.S. airports complied, slashing bomb threats 90%. In January 2010, TSA rolled out advanced imaging technology scanners, first backscatter X-ray, then millimeter wave by 2013. These changes made U.S. aviation the world's safest. Because of everything that's happening in the United States and around the globe, I've been focusing on companies that provide valuable products for security purposes that cover airports, stadiums, government facility, and there's one big finding that I found. Liberty Defense stock, ticker LDDFF, is down 87% in 7 months. The company has raised 45 million USD, and its current market cap is only 16 million USD. And it has developed and began commercializing one of the most competitive and innovative products of its kind, in my opinion, in accordance with Trump's TSA mandate and DHS requirements to make Americans safe and airports efficient and much more travel-oriented. It raised millions of dollars at share prices that were much higher than the current price. It raised 3.5 million USD in Q1 at 5x or 500% higher than today's price. Today's share price is near all-time lows. This is really the first and primary reason for the timing of this alert. Liberty Defense Holdings is addressing major security threats, and the government has already expressed interest in their products and solutions. This is the most important part of this. Liberty Defense is working closely with Trump's TSA in what could be a game-changing moment for the company. The Department of Homeland Security and the TSA are not only impressed with the company's products, but the TSA's actually granted Liberty Defense a sole source contract, and with $6 million USD in grants. A sole source contract is a non-competitive agreement where a single supplier is chosen to provide a unique product because they are the only one capable of meeting the specific requirements. These contracts are typically thanks to the uniqueness, proprietary technology, or urgent needs that only one provider they believe can address. So from my standpoint, the most important reason I'm featuring Liberty Defense to you now is because the TSA has issued a mandate that airports must, and I repeat, must begin screening employees for explosive type threats, including metallic and non-metallic threats. As you can see, it is crucial to understand what hex wave is so we can understand its potential penetration to the threat detection and security market. Secondly, it's critical to understand the HDAIT upgrade because the TSA has inked a sole source contract for this kit to Liberty Defense, which is currently being tested by the TSA with sales expected in the months to come. The HDAIT upgrade is TSA's quest to retrofit about 1,000 body scanners with new body scanners at a unit cost of $100,000 each. So you could do the math, and TSA's already granted Liberty Defense with $4.5 million USD, and it's a sole source contract. I say it and still can't believe it because the company's market cap, again, as I present this to you, is only 16 million USD. Liberty Defense Holdings specializes in concealed weapons technology, weapons detection technology, and stands at the forefront, in my opinion, the flagship HEXWAVE system derived from cutting-edge MIT Lincoln Labs research and enhanced through partnerships with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and Transportation Security Administration. HEXWAVE system is a walk-through portal that employs millimeter wave technology, advanced 3D imaging, and artificial intelligence to detect both metallic and non-metallic concealed threats. Unlike traditional metal detectors, which fail against plastic or 3D printed guns, HEXWAVE scans individuals in real time as they pass through, processing up to 700 people per hour without requiring them to remove their jackets or their shoes or pocket items. This contactless, high-throughput design minimizes disruptions while maximizing accuracy, reducing false alarms, and the need for invasive pat-downs. Liberty Defense secured an exclusive license for the technology. One of the first customers was the Los Alamos National Labs, but the most incredible new development occurred, as far as I'm concerned, when the TSA issued a mandate for roughly 173 airports around the country to screen their employees starting April 2026. Keep in mind, the April 2026 mandate is right around the corner. And as you can see, few airports have yet to pull the trigger on HEXWAVE or on competitors' products, which means there's a high likelihood sales are going to significantly come in the next few months. So look, research Liberty Defense Holdings. All right, that wraps up this episode. Like, subscribe. We'll see you next time.